Firstly, can I say thank you for the opportunity to be interviewed. I'm looking forward to the interview. The role of Speaker is a unique one in the Parliament. I'm not there to be the person supporting the government. My job is to support Parliament and make Parliament work. I'm not appointed by the government, but I'm elected by all of the parliamentarians at the start of Parliament. So my job is to allow the government to do its business, to allow the opposition to expose what they consider the government's not doing well. Chairing question time is sort of the main point of the day, when I've got to make sure I let every parliamentarian have a fair go, provided every parliamentarian abides by the rules. So that's the public part of the job, the question time. But of course I also look after the parliamentary complex, make sure that the facilities are satisfactory to allow all New Zealanders and tourists coming in to watch our Parliament, make sure that the MPs can get their job done, make sure the select committees work, etc. That's the total role of being the Speaker. It came at the invitation of the Chairman of the Congress. Unfortunately, it was only for 1 week, but because of the parliamentary calendar here in New Zealand, we had no more time in 1 week. I take a Speaker's delegation offshore every year. So I take members of Parliament from Labour, from National, from New Zealand First and from the Greens. But for the first time ever, I also put a trade delegation together, and we went to China. We saw a lot of China, but the hospitality and the success of the visit was absolutely superb. Well, in 4 in total, I went 2 days early. Parliament finished on Thursday, so I went immediately to Shanghai, where my daughter has been in China for the last 2 years teaching English. So she arrived in Shanghai. My wife had also gone early to spend time with my daughter. We then moved from Shanghai as a delegation down to the city of Kunming, which is in the Yunnan province, spent 2 days. We went from there via Beijing to Hohhot in Inner Mongolia, which of course is the heart of the dairy industry for China, and then from there to Beijing, and where we did the political aspect of the visit. And finally, we came back into Shanghai simply to get on a flight that took us from Shanghai back into a busy trip. But we met a lot of people. We saw quite a diverse range of China. You realise how massive the country is when you travel 3 or 4 hours across from one city to another. Of course, you can't do that in New Zealand. Well, I think just having the business delegation with us was quite special, and there was a total of 10 businesses that came with us, and they all said they got tremendous value out of the trip, being able to go with the Speaker. The Speaker, of course, opens doors in all of the provincial governments to the provinces that we went to, but then the businesses themselves have to do their own deals after that. But what struck me as relatively important, from both a New Zealand point of view and from a China point of view, they don't want quick sales. They want to establish relations that are truly long-term. They want repeat business. They actually want to create friendships. The relationship between China and New Zealand is extremely warm and extremely meaningful. It's been a relationship that's developed over many, many decades. And of course, the free trade agreement in 2008 was an important reinforcement of that relationship. We now, of course, say that free trade agreement is now 8 years old. It needs to be upgraded. So one of the messages I was pushing when I met political leaders, including Chairman Jiang, is that we need to take the opportunity to refresh that free trade agreement, make sure it continues to be relevant to the benefit of both China and New Zealand. That's a very interesting question, and we can't answer that simply because we don't keep a register of who arrives on the public tours. About 100,000 people come through Parliament every year. So it's the second biggest tourist attraction in the city of Wellington, second only to Te Papa. And I think it's great that New Zealanders and overseas visitors can freely wander into the New Zealand Parliament, can go up to the gallery, to watch the Parliament in action. I'm proud of the New Zealand democratic system. I think it works very, very well for New Zealand. More people that have the opportunity to see it, the better. But sadly, I can't give you a percentage of the Chinese people or people of Chinese origin that come through. But I'm hoping after this interview we'll see a lot more of it.